All right, welcome. If you're an RF tech, you know the feeling, passive intermodulation, or PIM. It's that ghost in the machine, right? The thing that degrades your network, drives users crazy, and can be an absolute nightmare to track down. Well, today we're going on a hunt. We're going to dive into a field guide for finding the usual suspects and figure out exactly where PIM loves to hide.
Now, before we jump in, it's good to know where this info comes from. This is actually part of a much larger 10-part series. It's all based on a super detailed guide from the real pros over at RFI Detectives. For this explainer, we're zooming in on Chapter 3, which is all about the common sources and causes of PIM.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to start the PIM culprit hunt to really get what we're looking for. Then we'll investigate two different scenes of the crime, you could say. The inside job, internal sources, and the outside influence, all those external sources. And finally, we'll wrap up with your prevention playbook so you can stop PIM before it even gets started.
All right, let's officially start the investigation. You know, every single PIM problem, no matter how different it looks on the surface, has one thing in common: a single root cause. And once you get this, you're on your way to becoming a real PIM detective. And here it is. This is the bad guy behind every PIM headache you've ever had: the non-linear junction. Just think of it like this. Whenever you have two different metals touching, especially if there's a loose connection or some rust, they can act like a tiny accidental diode. And when your powerful RF signals hit that spot, they get all mixed up, creating this nasty interference that can land right back in your receive band. So bottom line, finding PIM really just means finding these junctions.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Okay, we know what we're looking for, but where do we actually start looking? Where are these things hiding out there on a real-world cell site?
Well, their hiding spots basically fall into two main categories. First, you've got your internal sources. This is PIM that's being created right inside your own RF path. We're talking your cables, your connectors, your antennas. The problem is literally inside your own house. Then, you've got the external sources. These are way sneakier. This is PIM created by stuff in the environment around your antenna. So let's break these down, starting with the ones closest to home.
Okay, first up, the inside job. These are the problems that are quite literally right under your nose. They're inside the very equipment you install and you maintain every day. This is always where you should start your search.
And what you'll notice here is that these are so often about craftsmanship. I mean, think about it. A connector that's just a little bit under-torqued, that can create a microscopic gap, a perfect nonlinear junction. A cable with too tight of a bend, that can actually damage the shielding inside, creating another PIM source right in the line. And yeah, over time, even the best antennas wear out. A solder joint might crack and boom, another PIM-generating junction. It just proves that doing the basics, doing them right, is your #1 defense against these inside jobs.
So, let's say you've checked your entire RF path. It is spotless, perfect, but you're still getting PIM. Well, now it's time to look outside your own gear. The problem might not be in your system at all, but near it.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because almost anything metallic in front of that antenna can basically become a little PIM factory. You see a rusty bolt on a tower leg? Yep, that's a nonlinear junction. The edge of some metal flashing on a nearby roof? That's one too. Even a simple chain link fence or some loose hardware that's vibrating in the wind can catch that RF energy, mix it all up, and then shoot it right back as interference. This is where PIM hunting gets really tough, but it's also kind of fun.
Look, finding and fixing PIM is one thing. That's reactive. The real goal is to stop it from showing up in the first place. This is about shifting your mindset from being a PIM firefighter to being a PIM architect, someone who builds quality into the system right from the very beginning.
And the RFI Detectives report gives us this awesome 4-part playbook for this. It all starts with installation excellence. Because let's be real, one loose connector can completely undo millions of dollars of equipment. Next, using high component standards, so your gear isn't the problem to begin with. Then, there's proactive maintenance, to catch issues before they become outages. And holding it all together is continuous training, making sure every single tech knows this stuff by heart.
And I really want to leave you with this powerful thought, straight from the report. Mastering PIM isn't just about following steps on a checklist. It's about really understanding the why behind what you're doing. It's a commitment to quality that really separates the true professionals in our field. So the real question to ask yourself is, are you just fixing problems, or are you building a network to prevent them from ever happening?